What's up, you guys? It is your girl Nakia Symone. Welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to be talking to you guys about how I moved to a new state. I moved to Texas with little to no money, not the best credit, no job. So I know it's a lot of people that are interested in moving out of state. I always see statuses all the time about people who want to move out of state, particularly to Texas as well. So I thought I would share my experience and my journey, and hopefully to be helpful to someone and kind of give a few tips. So disclaimer, I'm just going to tell you what worked for me and my experience. You know, everything doesn't work for everybody, but hopefully my tips and my mistakes or what worked for me could maybe possibly help you in some way if you are interested in moving out of state, even if it's not Texas. So I wrote down a few steps. So the first thing that I did was set a date. I gave myself some time. I had been wanting to move to Texas for like 2 years. And then in 2021, I had just got serious about it. I was like, I have to move no matter what, no ifs, ands, or buts. So I set me a date at the beginning of the year, and I said I wanted to move by August. Earlier in that year, I did have a job. I was working from home, doing like a customer service position, and I had saved up like $2,000. My husband had some money saved up as well, but not a lot. He probably had a little over $2,000 as well. And then we were still casually spending money, of course. So I started to price things. I started to look up how much the rent was for houses in the area that I wanted to stay in, because of course I had visited Texas a few times before I wanted to move. So by this time, if you're already wanting to move, you should have already visited where you wanted to move already. I would hope so. I hope you don't want to just move somewhere without having been there. So yeah, I basically started to look up the houses in the area that I wanted to move in from the previous times that we had visited years prior. So I kind of started to analyze that, about how much we would need to be making if we were staying in a house for, let's just say, if the house that I wanted to stay in was, I don't know, $1,400. The minimum that we both could make an hour would be like $15 an hour for 2 people to make 3 times $1,400 a month, if you get where I'm going. So basically you need to figure out where you want to stay, how much the rent is in that area, and then you need to figure out how much you need to be making, because you need to make 3 times your rent wherever you stay. So we did that, which was like $15 an hour is nothing, and we knew that we'd be able to find those jobs easily. So check that off my list. Then I started to price housing. I knew that I wouldn't be able to move straight into a house because I didn't have a job down there. So closer to when it was time to move, I set up a goal for my savings. So I said we need to save at least $4,000. Having more money will help, but you don't need a ton of money to move. So I saved up my few $1,000s before I stopped working. It's because I wanted to have a few months to kind of like spend time with family and stuff like that, and just do what I want to do and relax before we actually moved, and you know, make sure we was making the right decision and stuff like that. So I worked for a few months, and then I stopped working maybe like 3 months before we moved, and I was still just doing little stuff on the side, like doing makeup, or you know, I had to do a few weddings and stuff over the summer, so I made a little extra money in between as well, and just doing other little stuff to make money. And then I started to price housing for when I first moved, because I tried getting a few jobs. I tried to get jobs while I was still in Michigan before moving to Texas, and it just didn't work out. Like, you're gonna have to be there. A lot of those places wanted you to come in and interview, unless it's like a remote work from home job. If you can find a remote work from home job, that's great. Even if you find a job that's in your current state, that would be ideal for you, because that way you can take that with you. And even if you work at a job now in office, maybe you can ask them, see if they'll let you work remote. Some jobs are doing that now since the pandemic. I just think it worked better for me to find a job once I actually got there, because I was thinking about going in office, but I ended up finding another work from home job once I got here. So besides that, I started to look up housing to stay in for the meantime. We didn't want to stay in a hotel. We wanted to kind of stay in a Airbnb until we got our own house. So what we did was, once I saved up the little $4,000, I had looked for an Airbnb to stay in for a month, because I was like, a month is a good enough time for us to both find a job and get at least a check, so that we can show it to our the homeowners that we are going to be renting from, or the rental company that we'll be renting from, or apartment complex we'll be renting from, because you need to have proof of income. no matter how much money you got, you have to have proof of income on paper. So I found an Airbnb in the same area that I wanted to stay in, and I booked it for a month, which was like $2,000. After that, I started to look up transportation. I knew I didn't want to get rid of everything in my house because I had just bought furniture probably like it was about a year prior to us moving. So I wasn't ready to like get rid of all of my stuff yet. So I said I wanted to basically put it in the U-Haul and trail it down there, like drive, because we drove. We didn't fly because it would have cost a lot more money. So driving saves money. If you can, you can get a U-Haul, and we rented a dolly to go on the back of our U-Haul. We actually didn't go with U-Haul, we went with Budget. Their trucks were a lot newer and it was a better price or whatever. And to go one way, if you're getting a U-Haul, I don't know if you know this, but it costs a lot of money to like pick up a U-Haul in one state and then drop it off in the next state. So that was like another, it was about $1,800. So that's almost $4,000. That's all of our money right then and there. So before we left, at this point, we got probably like 3 more months left. So we were able to save up maybe about another $2,000 when we actually left. We had, then we ended up getting married right before we left. And a lot of people gifted us money and stuff like that too. So we had a few more over $2,000 from that, but no real money. Like $2,000 is really nothing. So we literally just, at the time we were just like, we're not pushing it back no longer. We have been wanting to move for like years. Like once it got to 2021, we was like, we move in, no ifs, ands, or buts. I don't care what it is. We had, at that point, we felt like we had everything we need. We got a place to stay for a month. We know we're gonna find a job within a month. We had transportation because we put our car on the back of the U-Haul, and we had our furniture too. So it's like once we get our place and we got our job, we got furniture. So it's like we really won't need for anything. That's just how we looked at it. So once the day finally came, we said our prayers. We have been praying all the way up until, just making sure it was the right thing to do. Lord, please don't let us get here. We got 2 small children. Don't let us get here and be uncomfortable. We'll be stranded. We really just kind of took a chance because it's like, what if we didn't come out here and find a job within a month? That's another thing. Let me tell y'all. So my month ended up running out at the Airbnb. We both found our jobs. We both had jobs, but we didn't have enough pay stubs. So they wanted a month worth of pay stubs. At least 3 at minimum. So by that time, we had got a job after like 2 weeks. Both of us was employed 2 weeks after we got here. Then 2 weeks after, that's when we finally got our first checks. But we only had 1 check at the time. And mind you, that $2,000 we had spent on gas, just getting stuff once we actually finally got settled in the Airbnb. Groceries, anything. We was just spending the money. So the $2,000 went pretty quick. And then we only had maybe like $1,000 left. So because we didn't have the best of credit, we don't have horrible credit, but we didn't have the best. We reached out to a realtor because that was the best thing that we can do. We tried applying for a few apartments, but because we didn't have the best of credit and we didn't have 3 pay stubs or whatever, basically a full month worth of pay stubs, it was kind of hard for us to get approved for anything. So we ended up reaching out to a realtor. I'm going to leave my realtor's information. Matter of fact, I don't know if I really want to leave it on this, but if you are looking for a realtor in the Texas area, you can comment down below and I will reach out to you personally and I'll give you her information because I don't want to just leave it on here for anybody. I don't want to be getting blown up on my account. But if you're serious about moving and you need a realtor in Texas, I have the perfect realtor. She will help you no matter what your situation is. She will get you in a place. So we reached out to a realtor. We told her our situation and she was just completely honest. She was like, well, since you guys don't have a month worth of checks, you are going to have to wait it out until you get that month worth of checks. But once you have that, since you don't have the best of credit either, you're going to need to pay a double deposit. So if the house that we wanted was $1,500, you're going to have to pay $3,000 to move in plus your first month. So we're looking at $4,500 already. So we were kind of like, oh. So we knew already that we were going to go past our Airbnb date. So we were planning to move into a hotel. So we moved into a hotel for 3 weeks. And we literally just saved until we made the money, until we made up at least like 3 months worth of what we were looking to pay for the month. So by this time, once we actually saved all that money, it took us 3 weeks to save that money because the jobs that we ended up getting actually paid very well. So it only took us 3 weeks. So we had to stay in a hotel for 3 weeks after the Airbnb. And then by that time we had enough money saved, and so we reached back out to our realtor. She was on it. She took us to go see about 3 or 4 houses the next day, and then we started to apply. You know, she pretty much did all of the negotiating and everything. She got us in a place. We moved the 1st of October, the very next, you know, so we moved in August. We had our Airbnb until September, the first week of September. It's like September 9th or something like that. We stayed in a hotel from September 9th all the way up until the end of that month. And October the 1st is when we moved into our place. So that's just how everything worked for us. And I'm basically just telling y'all this to let y'all know y'all don't need $1 million to move. You just have to be really determined. You have to have faith. You have to pray. Make sure it's the right decision for you. You have to do your research. If you have children, you have to look at schools. Like when I came down here, I had to find a school for my daughter. In Texas, school starts in August. Normally in Michigan, it started in September. So we moved down here. I had to get her in a school. She started school a week late. But we were so determined that, you know, she was going to school, staying in a hotel, staying in an Airbnb. It was just a lot, but she was happy. We made sure that she was happy. We tried to still do fun stuff while we were saving money. And we really grinded and we made it happen. I'm really proud of us. We did go through a lot. Now we're comfortable. We're in a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom house with an attached 2-car garage. We're very comfortable. So we went through the motions to finally get here, and it just feels so fulfilling that we were able to make something happen for ourselves. And now everything has just been going very, very well for us since then. Also, you guys, what I forgot to mention was you also need to price. If you are bringing your stuff with you, you do need to price also your storage. So when we stayed in an Airbnb, of course we had to pay to put our stuff in storage, but luckily, because everything worked out for us, by the time we got here, there was a promotion going on at the storage. We ended up storing our stuff at a U-Haul. There was a promotion going on at the time where basically if you pay, I think we had to pay like maybe $170 or something like that. We were able to we got the 2nd month free. So basically we moved here in August. We paid the one something for August. September, the full month of September, we got free. So as long as we had moved our furniture out by October the 11th, we wouldn't have to pay another month. So all we ended up having to pay was $170 for the storage. And then we was able to get our stuff out because we moved by October the 1st. We were able to get our stuff out prior to. So yeah, you guys. And while we were doing all of this, we still were paying our bills in Michigan. We still had rent that we had to pay there, and lights and gas and stuff, bills that we didn't want to leave in our name and stuff like that. So you just got to keep in mind, you still have to cover your current bills on top of saving money for your goals and your moves that you're going to make. So just take your time with everything. You know, I just want to let y'all know that it is possible. Y'all can move. You know what I'm saying? You do not have to stay wherever you are. If you are miserable there, you can move. It is possible. I did have help, but I watched a few people before I actually moved. I had help because I'm married, so me and my husband did it together. But even if you are by yourself, you can do it. It's possible. I've watched a few other YouTube videos on here of people who done it by themselves. You pretty much can follow the same steps, or you know, do what works for you. I would suggest getting an Airbnb for longer. If I can give any advice, you know, saving up as much money as possible as you can, and just doing your research, making sure you visit and actually see that place before you actually move. A lot of people just like to jump on waves and stuff like that just because it's a popular thing, but you have to make sure that you actually like it. That's very important. And yeah, y'all, just have faith. It's possible. So now, you know, you guys, we are comfortable. We are, you know, building our credit even higher. Our realtor is actually working with us to get us prepared to buy a house. So, you know, everything just went well. And it's just like, I think back sometimes, like, what if we wouldn't have made that move? What if we would have, you know, kept listening to people saying, oh no, you need $10,000 to move. You need at least this much money to move. You need this much money. You really don't. Like, you really don't. Overall, I guess we did have a lot of money. If you want to think about it, we had $2,000. We had to pay for the Airbnb for the month. We paid $2,000 basically for our U-Haul. We paid $170 for our storage. You know, and then there was just other stuff that we had to pay as well when we moved down here. You know, deposits and stuff like that. So I guess it was a lot more than what I thought, but because I planned it out and I started in the beginning of the year, I was able to pay that stuff off gradually. So I didn't have a full $10,000, even though overall it might have cost about $10,000 to move. I did it gradually, so it really didn't seem like I needed that much money. By the time we got on that road, we didn't have $10,000, but we had all of our other stuff paid for. Like we had our housing for a month paid for. We had a little bit in the bank, a little over $2,000. We had our car. We knew that when we got there, we wasn't gonna have to pay for transportation and then because we trailed our car on the back of our U-Haul. We paid for storage before we went. We just really thought it out and we planned it really, really well, in my opinion. Of course, having more money would have helped in certain situations, and it probably would have got us in a place, well, it wouldn't have gotten us in a place faster because we still had to have those pay stubs. So I just recommend that if you can find a work from home job in your current state, that will help you out a lot because you want to have those 3 pay stubs, and you still need to have checks moving forward just in case you don't find the right place right away. And yeah, y'all, I ended up just do your research, especially if you have kids. You know, make sure you're staying in a nice area, you're getting them in a nice school. And yeah, y'all, just get to it. If you want to move, get to it because it's not hard to do, and it may be a better life for you waiting in that new state. So just pray about it. Let God guide you and give you those signs about if it's the right move for you or not. If it is the right move for you, everything will go exactly how it's supposed to go. How you planned it and write it on that paper, everything will go exactly how it's supposed to go. You won't run into any issues or anything like that if the move is meant for you. So yeah, y'all, I hope this was helpful to someone. If there are any questions that I did not answer that you are needing help with or something, leave me a comment. I'll actually leave my email down below as well if you are not comfortable leaving a comment and you want to email me, or you can also DM me on Instagram or message me on Facebook, whatever. If there are if it's any details that I left out or anything that you're still needing help with, definitely read the description box and let me know. Make sure before you reach out to me you already subscribe to my channel, because why aren't you subscribed? Make sure you support your girl. Also, if you are new to my channel and this is your first time here, I am going to be doing vlogs about my life in Texas, so make sure you subscribe. I am going to be showing a little bit of what Texas looks like, food and places to try out once you get down here, even if you're just visiting. So yeah, just subscribe to my channel. And yeah, so that is all for this video. I hope I was able to help someone. Y'all, if your goal is to move, it's attainable. You can do it. Just plan it, pray about it, and then be about it. Okay? All of my information will be down in the subscription box, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye, guys.